Nelson, alcoholic addict. That's not my real name. It's my pen name that I use here for my newsletter. I was at an in-person meeting the other day, and at the end, we stood behind our chairs, 6 feet apart in masks, and we said a prayer together. And for the record, it was group conscience to socially distance, and I support that, totally support that. I think being safe for every single person in the room is critical to recovery, so I am on board with that. But I did catch myself just missing the good old days, of 2019 when we'd hold hands and hug and get really close and say prayers together. I really missed that. And then I thought back to my first few months of sobriety and how back then the last thing on earth I wanted to do was hug anybody or hold any hands or say prayers together. I remember doing that thing where at one of my first meetings, I stood back in disbelief and I was thinking, is this some cult shit happening here or what? And the truth is, I had a couple of things that I thought were parts of the recovery process that I personally would never want to do. Maybe you people need to do that, but I don't. Holding hands and saying group prayers at the top of the list. No, thank you. I hadn't done much of it in my life, and I thought I did not stop using drugs and alcohol to start suddenly hugging and holding hands. I was in recovery because I just did not want to die. Making amends was also something that you other people might need, but I don't. I only ever really hurt myself, I thought. I also wasn't so sure about hanging out after meetings or doing service work. I didn't think that stuff was going to be for me. I am so busy, I got to run. Bye. That was my mentality. But man, oh man, boy, things changed for me after I got into the rooms. I grew to love the intimacy of meetings. I grew to love the meeting after the meeting with sober people. I grew to love doing service. Okay, that's sort of a lie. Let's just say I grew to like what service did for my program of recovery, business meetings and doing service. Sometimes not my favorite, but it's critical that I do those things, and I actually do appreciate them immensely. I really did fall in love with saying prayers and hugging and holding hands. It's such an intimate manifestation of what we're there to do, which is prop each other up during the tough times and also experience the joys of the good times together. It's a shared experience with a bunch of other people, all trying to sync up their words and their actions and their hearts at the same time in the same place for an hour. It is so beautiful. It's also unlike anything else in my life. like at work, we don't all gather around the conference room table and hold hands and say the 7th step prayer to get ready for the day. It just does not happen that way. I won't pretend and say that I use all of the formal prayers in my regular life. I love the Serenity Prayer. It is a foundation of my program, and I try to make sure it's a foundation of my thought process every single day. But I actually don't say it that much now that I think about it. Maybe I should. I don't know. I definitely don't say the Lord's Prayer outside of meetings. This is a personal thing. It is not my favorite, to be honest. But I say it at meetings. I enjoy saying it at meetings. And that's perfectly okay that it's not my personal favorite. I've met people who are very bothered by that prayer or other ones, and the origins of those prayers and how they worry about the overlap sometimes between recovery meetings and religion. Totally get it. But I also try to think about recovery like Target or Walmart. When I go to Target, I walk past 100 things in the store to get to the one I want, and I don't let all the other aisles full of things prevent me from getting what I need. I don't say, hey, I don't like seeing the greeting cards as I try to get to the cat litter. I'm done with this place. I don't do that. My bottom line is there are parts of recovery programs that aren't always for me, and that's perfectly okay. The old saying is take what you need, leave the rest. And as I learned, sometimes I take what I need and I leave the rest, and then I realize, I actually want the rest. Thanks for letting me share.